G'day, everybody. Welcome to another episode or edition of Stock Talk. This is episode 27 or 28. Well, 28, I think. My name is Aman. I'm an investment coach at Sage Investors, and today I want to talk a little bit about some of the investment decisions that I've made over the last month. If you follow my blog on my website, sageinvestors.ca, every month I post, write a blog highlighting all the investment decisions that I've made, all the buying and selling of stocks and ETFs that I've done on my portfolios, because I believe it's important to be transparent. My job is, I spend my time teaching and helping and mentoring people to make better investment decisions, and it's one thing to do that. I think it's important that if you're going to talk the talk, you walk the walk, and present your own personal investment decisions that you're facing and how you're dealing with them. So I thought I'd share with you in this episode some of the ones that I made over the past month. Now, the big thing that's really happened over the last month is that I live up here in Canada, is that the Canadian dollar really appreciated. When it was down at 1.69 cents per US dollar, and then over the last month it went as high as 80 cents, almost close to 80 cents per US dollar. And so I basically decided to use that bump up in the currency to do some cross-border shopping in a sense, and pick up some and add to some existing positions that I've had in my portfolio. So I made a couple of moves. The first move was I added to my current position in the Vanguard Emerging Market ETF. It was down a little bit over the month, and I used it as an opportunity to do some dollar cost averaging. So I added a little bit more of a position to it. Basic theme that I have is that emerging markets, you're going, why the hell are you investing in emerging markets? It's like it's completely out of favor, and Brazil and all the chaos, and China and Russia and all that stuff. Those, like, the bricks are just like collapsing, literally. And so why are you getting into emerging markets? Well, the fact of the matter is we've seen such an amazing transmission of wealth, or a transfer of wealth from the developed world to the developing so-called emerging market world. And the fact of the matter I just can't get past is that I just can't see all of a sudden money coming out of emerging markets, and all these people are just going to go back to, who have experienced a higher standard of living, who are becoming that emerging middle class, just all of a sudden go back and go back to a life of poverty or anything like that. I just, once you've experienced that capitalist type of lifestyle, then why would you want to go back? So long term, I think the story, my decision to buy, I have a component of emerging markets is a long term kind of investment decision. It's not something I'm looking to profit on it over like 6 to 10 months kind of thing. It's a long-term kind of decision, so I use these opportunities where things are a little bit depressed to add to those positions, to build all those positions up. So I add a little bit more to my emerging market exposure through the Vanguard ETF, ticker symbol VEE, I believe. Second move I did was I added a little bit more to my position in Potash Corporation. Again, potash is just getting, it's just in tough times right now, with the demand for potash falling, the prices for potash material falling, and it's impacting the company's earnings. Earnings are down. So again, Aman, why the hell are you investing in something that's going down? Well, again, it's a long-term story. And the fact of the matter is, it fills into this emerging market people. As people's standards of living globally rise, they will want to consume more healthier products and healthier foods. And as a result, there's just more arable land that's going to be needed. And potash is a critical nutrient to serve in the development of fruits and produce and that kind of thing. So long term, I think the demand for potash is going to be crazy. When it's going to happen, who the heck knows? But it's one of those kind of necessities, I guess. It comes down to one of those themes I've talked about in the past in terms of necessities of life. Potash is a critical nutrient in how we develop food and how we grow and distribute food. So right now it's out of favor. And again, it comes down to the premise: when do you buy great value stocks? And you buy them when they're out of favor, and potash is a company that's out of favor. Despite the fact that prices are low and depressed and everything, the company's still making money. They're still generating decent returns on invested capital. The fact of the matter is, it's the best in breed potash producer in the world. It's one of the big players in the world, and so they have pricing power. They can withstand shocks like this, and can adjust their production pretty quickly. So I'm using this as a buy opportunity to average down my position. They still paid, even though they cut their dividend, they're still paying about a 5% yield, which is, can't complain about that. So I made a decision there. So I decided to, again, take the opportunity. The price was down near the $20 mark, and my average cost was about 23. So I decided, okay, I'll just add a little bit more to it, just nip away my cost base. So I decided to do that. The other investment decision I made over the last month was I sold my position in Las Vegas Sands, and I sold it for an 8.5% gain. Now, frankly, I like the company. And it was a hard one to do, and this is one of those challenging ones to do. I really like the business. I think it's a cash cow. The company prints money left and right, despite the fact all the issues that they're having in Macau and the demand and all the crackdown on corruption and all that stuff. They're still printing money. They're still making incredible amounts of wealth, economic profit. What turned me off and really got me kind of really concerned about the company was that their admission that they had paid a $9 million fine to the SEC, which is like, chump change to these people, to these companies. It's pocket change. But it had to do with some dubious accounting practices that they were keeping in Macau with respect to how they were accounting for consultants and stuff like that they were hiring. And to me, it was a red flag. One of my red flags, game changer moments that I look for is that when there's stuff coming around that's talking about kind of nefarious and dubious kind of accounting practices that are being, put out there by the company, by the culture of the company, that to me is a red flag. Because even though this might be a little small, little isolated thing, it begs the question: where else is this stuff going on? What other parts of the business is this being condoned? And the credibility of a company rests with their financial statements. And if you can't trust the company's financial statements, or you have a doubt about the credibility of a company's financial statements, that's where you kind of walk away. And there's no like black or white, and that's how I work. If I can't trust the company's financial statements, or I have a doubt about them, I'm going to walk away. And I don't question as whether I'm making money off the stock or I'm losing money. I cut, I go. And that's kind of that discipline that I've tried to build in framing my investment decisions. I'm always looking for that when I'm analyzing a company or a company that I'm currently holding. I'm looking at the game changers and when identifying those game changer moments. And accounting is one of those ones where you cut bait and you ask questions later. I really like the model. I think casinos are a really great cash cow, just for all the obvious reasons. But credibility of your financial statements has got to be up there. And right now, you know what? If they clean their game up, straighten up their processes, straighten up their financial controls, and I get that vibe again that they're serious about it, then you know what? I'm happy to go back into it because I think the business model is a pretty cool one. But as I said, I got to trust the financials, and that's the cornerstone of a company's credibility, and I got to trust it. So that was my other move. And so. In conjunction with that, what I did was when I sold LVS, I stole a position of my gold position, which is through the ticker symbol CGL. And again, that has to do with all this hedging that I do with hedging my US dollar asset position. So the fact that I sold a US dollar product, I sold a little bit of my hedge on the ETF through gold, which is kind of this quasi thing I'm doing right now. That's an episode on itself, and I've talked about it in previous episodes. So, finally, the other move, which was an new position that I added to the portfolio, was I bought Whole Foods, and I believe I've talked about it in the previous episodes here at Stock Talk of my thought process of investing in Whole Foods. So you can read about it. It's actually on my blog. It's on my website, and I go into a little bit more depth on how I rationalized making that investment decision. So that's pretty much what I did in the month of April, and again, taking advantage a little bit of the currency appreciation to do some buying, and that's where we are. So I just wanted to share that with you, and join us again in a couple of weeks. I'll walk you through what I've done in this month, in the month of May. So that's another edition of Stock Talk. If you have any questions about any investing topics or concepts you're facing, you want me to blab about it, just give me a shout through Twitter. My handle is @SageInvestors. I tweet all my personal trades and investing decisions and thought processes and mind maps. I tweet them all out, so feel free to follow me through there. Otherwise, you can hit me through my website, my email through my website, www.sageinvestors.ca. Go to the contact page and shoot me an email. I'll be happy to answer through Stock Talk any questions that you have. So that's all I got for you today. Another welcome. Thanks for dropping in, and we'll catch you again another time.